saying that don't invest outside. Bring back your factories in US. Because mind you, you would also be asked to pay a higher tariff. Because when you are exporting it back to US, then I am going to impose, I have imposed higher tariff, so it's not that I'm not going to impose on you, but I'll definitely impose on you as well. So what's the point of actually, producing Apple phones in Beijing? Because I'm going to impose tariff on them. So it looks as if it's a logical case because I can attract more capital into US because I've created an environment in which you cannot cater to US market that easily. You can produce somewhere, then you want to sell, then you have to face this step. Now, very interestingly, trade theory comes to basic trade theory becomes very significant in terms of explaining why Mr. Trump is wrong, or can be seriously wrong. US is a country, anybody would suggest that it is not a labor-intensive, labor-abundant country. There will be differences in opinion, what kind of labor, which kind of capital, etc., etc. But we would always teach students by saying rich countries are essentially capital-abundant countries, and the poorer countries more labor-abundant. Therefore, if you impose tariff in US on products, it has to be labor-intensive goods that you are imposing tariff because they are your import competing good. Now, you have famous vintage Stolper-Samuelson theorem, which tells you that in this, if you do that, then your wages will go up and return to capital will fall. And this is the basic theorem of international trade theory. There will be different variants of it, but it's a great theorem in the sense that if you impose a tariff on labor-intensive good, workers and the wages increase in proportion to both good prices. So it's like workers are unambiguously better off. Their real income doesn't matter what they contribute, because the workers' wage will increase by higher percentage points than the tariff-ridden price. So unambiguously real income of workers will increase and unambiguously real income of the capitalists will fall. And this is exactly symmetry when it comes to the developing countries, because if you impose tariff there, it is expected. Now, of course, with distortions and there are many other problems with assumptions or characterizations, you can have different results. But this is the basic result. That is, if America imposes tariff on import goods, capitalists would not like it because wages will go up and return to capital will fall. So the first effect is that capital would run away from US. They don't want to work with. They want their capital to be invested somewhere else. It's interesting because if you go back to this price, P star 1 plus T and P star. So here are Apple phones. Those phones are being produced in China. And the world price of those phones, a P star, at this P star, Apple actually exports to United States from China. P star into 1 plus T, what the US people pay for Apple within US. Now, when P star into 1 plus T increases, that's when your import good is more expensive. Then it must be the case Stolper-Samuelson kicks in, and therefore your wages go up, and return to capital will fall. So capital wants to run away to somewhere else, maybe to China. But in China, P star is falling. Why? That's the world price. Now you are restricting demand for Apple phones in the United States. So there is an impact on the world market. So your P star is falling. As soon as P star falls, the return to capital falls in China. So essentially, both markets are affected in terms of capital's return. And there is no a priori theorem which tells you that it will be, that in US, the fall will be lower compared to China. So that all capital will come here. In fact, you can show that under very general conditions, there can be many reasons why the fall in China would be much less. So if the capital has to run away, it will still run away, because if it is declining 10% in US, it is declining 5% in China. So at least it's trying to minimize the loss. So this is how the theory will tell you that how this so-called imposition of tariff does to the incentive of American capitalists to move around with their capital.